Kyoto. The most breathtaking temples, crowds, stunning natural beauty, crowds, a much more laid-back and historical vibe compared to Tokyo, though both have lots of crowds. Kyoto was the next stop on our list after spending an amazing few days in Tokyo, followed by Tokyo Disney. Videos for both are linked down below, by the way. It was my second time in Tokyo, but I had never been to Kyoto before, so I was going in completely fresh. My mom and I were so excited to check out the temples, shrines, bamboo, and even took a little trip to see some deer. Here's how we spent 3 days in Kyoto. We left Tokyo Station and took the very famous bullet train to Kyoto, and we even saw a little bit of Mount Fuji on the way. And then we made it. Our first impression of Kyoto was just how laid back but lively it felt. We were craving ice cream in the worst way, so we went to that place where they have 7 levels of matcha ice cream. I got a very mild matcha and black sesame, and it was some of the best ice cream I've had in a while. And then we were off to explore. I love finding somewhere cool that's maybe a 30-45 minute walk away because it's such an amazing way to explore the city and find cool things along the way, which we ended up finding a really cool shrine. We also ended up finding the touristy side of Kyoto. There were so many cool shops and things to see that a 45-minute walk turned into 2 hours because we were just so entertained everywhere we went. While yes, many of the areas were quite crowded, I wouldn't say it took away from the experience. We finally made it to Kiyomizu-dera Temple, and so did everyone else. Again, yes, the crowds were no joke, but we still really enjoyed everywhere we went. This temple was so vibrant, so stunning, and it was surrounded by beautiful gardens. This was a much needed change of pace after enduring the chaos that is Tokyo. Then we were headed back to the area we were staying. We got distracted by some puppies that we really wanted to take home, and then we ended the night with some very famous ramen, which was really good, but we actually liked the Wagyu bowl even better.
It is 6:30 in the morning. We're gonna go see some bamboo.
The next day we got up at about 4:30 a.m. and took a 1-hour journey to Arashiyama. The bamboo forest is very hyped up on social media, and honestly, it deserves every bit of praise. Honestly, no photo or video even does it justice. It is even more beautiful in person, if you can even believe that. My mom and I were absolutely blown away.
I just can't believe how peaceful it is here. It's unbelievable.
I could walk this every day.
Oh, me too. Never get tired of it. I have a feeling we're not in Tokyo anymore.
It's completely natural, and while Japan is typically known as a must-visit destination for man-made structures and technological advancements, Arashiyama is an incredible example of Japan's natural beauty. Not far beyond the bamboo forest, there is a short hike to the stunning gorge. You could easily spend so much time here, but we were off to the next stop since it was quite a ways away. Oh, and we also found a mini Rolls Royce, which was really cool. I guess that's one of 10 in the world. Next stop, the Kinkakuji Temple. My mom and I were speechless when we first saw it. Not only was it a perfectly sunny day and the gold was reflecting onto the water, the temple itself is an absolute masterpiece.
Most beautiful temple I've ever seen. Ever. By far. Honestly, can't even think of a close comparison. This is crazy beautiful.
And I spent 2 months in Southeast Asia last year. Like, I've seen a temple or two in my day. It was 1000% worth the journey to get there. I consider it a must-see if you're in Kyoto. Then my mom got a 7-Eleven smoothie because when in Japan. Also, it was a pretty warm day. We ended up back in the city, so we stopped by Nishiki Market. It's been around for like a really long time, but to my understanding, it officially legally opened in like the 1600s. Given its history, it is of course very popular. I will be honest, it was really crowded and kind of hard to enjoy, plus nothing really caught our eye. We didn't have anything to eat there. I'm not gonna go so far as to say that I wouldn't recommend going, but personally, it didn't wow us. So everyone talks about the souffle pancakes in Japan, and I've tried them in Seattle, but I wanted to see if they're better here, so we went to Happy Pancake. The pancakes definitely get an A+ for the aesthetic. The pancakes taste light and airy, but still pretty filling. I won't say I'm as obsessed with them as social media is, but it was definitely a must-try while in Japan.
Who would drive their car in this area?
Afterwards, we did some exploring, and then we called it an early night since we both got up so early and we had another long day ahead. It was time to see one of the most famous things in Japan, the Fushimi Inari gates. These gates were first established 1,313 years ago, and they are incredibly well preserved. I've seen these all over social media, as many people have, and they are actually much cooler in person. We initially weren't going to do the entire walk through the 10,000 gates, but we were enjoying our time so much, and so we went for it. Actually, the further you go, the less people there are. The gates were awesome, but we had an hour-long journey ahead. We decided to go to Nara, famous for Nara Park, which is filled with free-roaming deer. Once we got there, though, I had a very important first stop. Mochi. If you ever wanted to know how mochi was made, here you go. For 100 yen, if I remember correctly, you can get fresh mochi, and I still have dreams about how fresh and warm it was. Just absolute perfection, every mochi lover's dream.
Time to go see some deer.
Then we were off to the deer park. Since we got there a little later in the day, the deer were pretty much full and fed up with humans, but it was still cool to walk around and see them all.
Oh, look at him.
So it's mating season, and we saw a couple of deer fight over a girl who just kind of walked away. And then they both just stopped and moved on. I'm not sure who won, but it doesn't look like there's any beef. We did find some hungry deer that were eager to take our crackers. They were so sweet. And after, we decided to take the journey back to the hotel, as it was our last night in Kyoto and we had to get up early to head to our last stop in Japan. Overall, our 3 days in Kyoto were amazing. While I actually do prefer Tokyo overall, Kyoto had the best side trips and just some of the most remarkable places we visited. My mom kept saying that Kyoto just felt like Japan. And she's literally correct, but I get what she means. It just has that historic vibe that I really loved. Kyoto, I know you weren't exactly begging for more people to come visit you, but thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.